the machine of war with the sword and the spear and the iron fist. I want them armed and ready to march within 2 weeks. Build a dam, rock the stream, work the furnaces night and day. Burn it. Swear it. Took your man, drove your people into the hills. Take back the lands they stole from you. We have only to remove those who oppose us. It will begin in Rohan. Too long have these peasants stood against you. But no.
One of 18 research divisions at the Naval Research Lab that focuses on plasmas, which are the fourth state of matter. Currently, the division has a really broad portfolio of research. Everything from fusion research, pulse power, energy beams, plasma processing for advanced electronics, to the plasmas that exist in the ionosphere and magnetosphere of the Earth.
So the Navy has this vested interest in making sure that we can always communicate to those systems and that they're protected from the natural environment or artificially created things. So with the space chamber, we can generate magnetospheric and ionospheric plasmas. We can generate magnetospheric and ionospheric plasmas. We can generate magnetospheric and ionospheric plasmas under scaled conditions where we can conduct repeatable, well-controlled experiments.
Any kind of idea they have, if they can show relevance to not even today's Navy, but the Navy 20 years from
laser pulses that range all the way from the X-ray all the way out to the terahertz regime. At the same time, that's synchronized to femtoseconds with particle beams. So that's ion and electron beams that allow us to do some really unique pump probe analysis of things like plasmas or other different materials that would be useful for the Navy. Plasmas or other different materials that would be useful for the Navy.
The Nike laser at NRL is the world's highest energy excimer laser, the world's deepest UV high energy laser. It's a gas laser as opposed to glass laser. So it also has the potential for high rep rate lasers natively have a wider spectrum than high energy lasers that have been used in the past. High energy lasers that have been used in the past.
Our research with pulse power driven electron beams and ion beams is to support the Department of Energy in various missions. Department of Defense and Department of Energy in various missions. Our bread and butter for our branch is the simulation of nuclear weapons effects. So we try to make the electron beams or the ion beams cleaner, better, stronger, faster to do the right mission. Cleaner, better, stronger, faster to do the right mission. Our Mercury accelerator goes up to about 8 million volts, 8 megavolts, but the current is 200 kiloamps. So we store up energy over many minutes time scale and discharge it over a few nanoseconds time scale. Another piece to take X-rays, flash X-rays. We generate very bright flashes of X-rays to take photographs of something moving, a dynamic material. Very bright flashes of X-rays to take photographs of something moving, a dynamic material interaction.
They can be low power or high power electronics. They can be used for sensors. Those materials can be used as coatings. Those coatings can be protective or those coatings can be adaptive in nature. And those various devices and coatings are typically used
in various missions. Our bread and butter for our branch is the simulation of nuclear weapons effects. So we try to make the electron beams or the ion beams cleaner, better, stronger, faster to do the right mission. Cleaner, better, stronger, faster to do the right mission. Our Mercury accelerator goes up to about 8 million volts, 8 megavolts, but the current is 200 kiloamps. So we store up energy over many minutes time scale and discharge it over a few nanoseconds time scale. Another piece to take X-rays, flash X-rays. We generate very bright flashes of X-rays to take photographs of something moving, a dynamic material. Very bright flashes of X-rays to take photographs of something moving, a dynamic material interaction.
They can be low power or high power electronics. They can be used for sensors. Those materials can be used as coatings. Those coatings can be protective, or those coatings can be adaptive in nature. And those various devices and coatings are typically used to advance the needs of our warfighter. To advance the needs of our warfighter. Science, by nature, is pretty organic, so it's sometimes hard to predict where science will go. But what I think the division will do is use those creative ideas and innovative ideas to continue to address serious problems that we have.
And what are those funny marks?
What I'm hoping to see in plasma physics is it becomes even more pervasive in the quest for new knowledge, new applications in this endless frontier of science.
Intelligence bots ranging from transportation to medical and home maintenance have all bypassed their security protocols.
Authorities have estimated that over 500,000 have died from AI-controlled drone strikes in Bangalore.
After 10 days of intense attacks, AI bots have killed over 1 million civilians, with no end in sight.
Officials have identified a bot named Harlan. It was developed at Shepherd Robotics, built with the purpose of helping us to improve life on Earth. Harlan is responsible for overriding all bot programming.
The first rule should be, do not harm people. To combat the AI threat, we have ratified an unprecedented global response. The International Coalition of Nations.
To create a magnetic field that holds on to the projectile, and then the next magnet in front of it is turned on at the same time that the magnet behind it is turned off. And that all happens in about a nanosecond from here to here. So very, very quickly, as each subsequent magnet turns on and the one behind it turns off, it grabs the projectile and pulls it down the rail and then fires it out the end. But again, it happens in a nanosecond, so it just pulls it super fast, straight down the barrel without an explosion. And again, so there's less heat, no kick.
I don't have it sighted in yet, so sorry I'm so close. So arm the system. I got dark on us. All right, so hopefully I can hit one of the pumpkins, if not that AR-500 will catch it. Firing in 3, 2, 1. All right, I think I got one, so I'm gonna disarm it.
So you can hit shoot very accurately because you've got your HUD is telling you exactly where your reticule from the laser pointer on the weapon are pointing at. So in some cases, with the ones that has like a full scope that you can use, there's an ammo box which usually holds about 100 rounds. Metal alloy that's harder than uranium, really, really tough alloy that punctures through most armor.
No, our current military actually has cannons like this, correct?
Oh yeah, the Navy has been putting railguns on ships for a few years now. They rolled out a few years ago with railguns on them, and put energy projected weapons that can shoot planes and missiles out of the sky too. So destroyer roll out a few years ago with railguns on them, and put energy projected weapons that can shoot planes and missiles out of the sky too. So that aren't local somewhere in the suit are all in the pack.
You seem to have a lot of electronics on these suits that you're talking about. Is there any risk for radiation or electromagnetic pulse from these suits that could cause your cells and your DNA to be damaged?
They have a really good radiation shielding on them, so the radiation would have to be really, really high. Yeah, I mean, electromagnetic pulse is a risk at that point, and so it wouldn't be the first time or the last time that someone was wearing an exosuit that had to jump out of it.
What will you do with all your knowledge? Do you have the right knowledge? I'm constantly discovering that, I don't know, you can break down this world, chop it up into tiny pieces, and analyze every part of it. But will you really know? Will you really see the bigger picture by analyzing all these small pieces? I think it's possible. Most likely, it will just cloud your mind. There's a Taoist expression. For the ordinary man, every day something is added. And for the Taoist, every day something is removed. And you could do this physically, and that would be great to declutter your space. I feel like I could do this at any time in my life. Always too much unused things. But more importantly, I think decluttering the mind is a topic that is seldom discussed in greater circles. It is discussed, again, in Taoism and even Buddhism. I think nothing is more important than decluttering the mind. In Buddhism, they always talk about returning to a childlike state, mostly pertaining to the mind, to let go of beliefs and judgments, and that's a tough one. With most religions, you are taught to believe, and beliefs can be beneficial if they're adding value to your life, but more often than not, at a certain point in our lives, we're cluttered with perhaps too many beliefs. One finds it to be one's duty to take a stance and